Before we leave America and go to other parts of the world, including this one, can you, Jeff, comment on the following statement? That Trump probably has a deep fear and worry and recognition that America is no longer the hegemon, no longer the number one player in the world in many areas, although overall I think by far America is still the number one. But the fear in him is perhaps driving a lot of the decisions that he makes. So he's not speaking out of inward strong belief of their own success. Rather, it is a strong belief of America's waning in a relative sense. Is that your reading of the situation? Sorry, you're just finishing the appetizer. We all will express our sympathy to you toward the end of this session.
It's a very good question of what Trump himself views and what the political elites view the situation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Marco Rubio said one clear, direct, correct, and honest statement when he said the unipolar world is over. That's probably the single most important statement that's been made in the American political scene in the Trump administration. It wasn't contradicted. No one jumped up and said, "Oh, Marco, you're too pessimistic," or "Why are you saying that?" So I think that there is a real understanding. Yes, there are multiple powers, and yes, the United States is no longer in charge. I don't know what implication they take from that and how much Trump's actions are in some response to that. I think there are several points that are that do follow that we could trace. One, as I said, Trump is not interested in the Ukraine war at all, so he would like it to end. He's in no position to ask for more financial support for Ukraine in any event, so that's why the war will end one way or another. But he probably also understands we're not defeating Russia, and so the whole point is pretty useless to be having this war. That's a reflection of reality in this sense. But take another implication of that. One implication is he'd like to he's happy to divide the spoils of Ukraine with Putin. You take these minerals, we'll take these minerals. So they're dividing up Ukraine. Ukraine is the absolute loser in this.
Like French and Britain used to do in the Middle East.
This is basically
repeat of it.
This is basically what Trump is doing or trying to do. I don't think it can work so crudely as Trump believes, but that's the level at which this is being done. He and Vladimir will divide Ukraine and will end the conflict and will respect each other on that. But then Trump is also asking, how can America regain its strength? And he comes up with multiple answers. One answer that he's absolutely dead serious about is recognizing that because of global warming, ironically, the northern route and the Arctic has been opened up, and the United States is not an Arctic country, other than a small stretch of Alaska. And so Trump absolutely believes that Canada needs to belong to the United States, and Greenland needs to belong to the United States. That is not rhetoric. It's not a joke. It is obscene, but it is not a joke. And the reason that he wants it is that the Arctic has become a strategic part of the world because it's no longer an ice-bound wilderness. It's now going to be central for international trade and resource development. And so that's where that comes from. So that's a kind of limited imperialism. It's a Western Hemisphere imperialism that Trump is actually trying to invoke. Again, I think the U.S. probably will militarily occupy Greenland during his administration. That's an invasion of Europe. I bet that it will take place. I don't think the U.S. will occupy Canada, but I do think that with the 50,000 people of Greenland, the United States may just decide it's going to take Greenland, and that's that. It won't stand. It won't work for the longer term. It will be a disaster, but it could very well happen. So that's the one kind of response. Trump also, I'm sure, believes that the tariffs are necessary for America to restore its greatness in some sense. And probably what he has in mind is we don't produce enough steel and aluminum to build our arms industry and so forth, and we can't compete with China unless we restore basic heavy industry. So I think that that is, he doesn't express it in a very clear way, and the tariff policy is an absurd way to approach this, and it's going to fail, but it's probably on his mind in the way you're saying, Ronnie, that, that this is part of the rebuilding process for the U.S. The problem that I have with all of that is I've never seen more illiterate economic policy. It's not even policy. That's a grandiose term for what passes as a thought process day by day. We have no institution in the United States asking the question about industrial policy or strategy. None. We have no planning agency. We have no NRDC, NDRC. We have no economy ministry. We have no institutional process thinking about America's economic future, because this is not how it's done in the United States. The only industrial planning we have in the United States is the Pentagon, and that's to build, F-35s and so on. It's not to do infrastructure or economic revitalization. So what Trump is doing is complete improvisation. You cannot run a $30 trillion economy on improvisation, but that's literally what is happening right now in terms of government policy. We don't even have congressional hearings where ideas are discussed, where experts testify. We don't have white papers. We don't have green papers. We don't have any process of thinking right now. We have edicts from the White House. That's a very strange way to run a country.